Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Welcome. First item of business is the approval of the minutes for our last meeting on October 20th.
So moved. Second.
Second. Any questions, changes, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No, carries. Motion carries. Fantastic. The highlights, Janet, you'll run through the highlights, and welcome to Thomas. Mark.
Actually, we have a pretty full agenda this
Yes.
evening, so we've decided to pass on the performance, since we did discuss that at the Fiscal Affairs
Right.
meeting, and go right on to the recommendations on asset allocation and managers.
If you will turn to page, I don't necessarily have the same page numbers as us. We have page 12 in mind. That is page 12. So you have the same thing. Good. As you recall, last time we discussed the non-marketable allocation and decided to not pursue non-marketable investments. And so that leaves the question of the 5% that we had allocated to non-marketables. Where do we put that in sort of allocation-wise? And we decided, I think there was a general agreement that we would put it within equities, but there wasn't a decision on where to put it specifically. So we have thought about that, talked with Janet about it, and the recommendation here is to put two of those 5% towards emerging markets, and then split the balance, the 3%, split that between U.S. and non-U.S. equities. And you can see the new post-target allocations in the middle column here on page 12. You see that U.S. equity then gets up to 25.6, non-U.S. 21.5, emerging market 7. And since we're changing those three targets, we are also modifying the ranges, or suggesting a modification to the ranges. Again, very incrementally, the previous range for U.S. used to be 15 to 30. Now it goes to 17.5 to 32.5. For non-U.S., it's 12.5 to 30, as opposed to 10 to 30 before. And emerging markets went from 3 to 10 to 4 to 11.
And all the rest of them stayed the same?
All the rest of them stays the same. So that's the recommendation. The background for the recommendation, if you will, is emerging markets is where we see the strong growth now. Now we have to be a little careful about equating growth, GDP growth, with investment returns. There is not a perfect correlation there. Actually, it turns out that if you do the analysis, there's not much correlation at all. But we do think that area, just because of the stronger also fiscal balances of these countries, and the innovation that's going on out there, we do believe that there's a good potential for growth, not just growth, GDP growth, but also earnings growth. And we're also seeing emerging markets becoming a bigger part of what we sort of think of as the unofficial geographic benchmark, which is the MSCI All-Country World Index. We see the emerging markets component of that coming up, and so we think it makes sense to increase our allocation accordingly.
Any questions?
Makes sense.
It does. Okay.
No problem.
All right.
Move it.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Are we going to move into executive session at this point?
Yes.
Okay. Move into executive session. One is the selection of change our emerging markets allocation from 5% to 7%, and to hire Dimension Fund Advisors, DFA, for an up to 2% position.
I'll move it just in case you need a fresh motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. We have a second motion to diversify the fixed income portfolio by adding a general fund manager. The recommendation is Colchester Global Investors with an up to 5% initial target.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Let's go home.
Entertain,
Any other business?
any other business?
Could I just make a
Yes.
comment? Because of my background with the CUNY Foundation, when Barry gets to sit down with the advancement professionals again, my recommendation is, because these foundations change their boards with some degree of frequency, that it would be practical to set up some type of script and check-off list that each of the advancement professionals sitting down with potential new donors can just check off to make sure that they are in compliance, and that compliance is, that piece of paper becomes explicit rather than implied. So it protects us all around. And you have a file.
Maybe later.
Okay. There be no further business? Thank you.
You're very welcome. You don't want to go to jail.
No.